We are here with Jisa the Hellraiser, 5 mana 4/4. Ward 2 mana and pay 2 life. Kinda nice. Skeletons and zombies you control have +1/+1 and menace. Whenever you commit a crime, you create two 2/2 zombies. They're also rogues, but we don't really care about that. They're just zombies. It only happens once each turn. So, again, your turn, opponent's turn, back and forth. That is possible. Maybe we want more discard spells for that, but for now, this is what it looks like. Bunch of removal, right? You want to actually commit crimes to make 2/2s. And a lot of mana ramp, because this is 5 mana, which kind of takes it out of most games, unfortunately. So I don't anticipate this hitting the field too often against a fair amount of decks, which kind of means it probably sucks, but we're gonna try it. 5 mana mono black. It's pretty steep, right? That's more steep than Davriel, and you don't really see a lot of really expensive mono black commanders for a reason. What is interesting is Skithrix, or better known as Skittles, is a 5/5 when your commander's in play, because this is a skeleton, and that can kill your opponent in 2 attacks instead of 3. That is actually quite significant. This is sometimes pretty hard to deal with, and it can have haste. I had Death Baron in here for a second, but where are you? I don't think this is a tribal deck at all. It's definitely not a skeleton tribal deck. And there's not that many zombies other than really the tokens this creates, and that is kind of cool. Giving them Death Touch is neat, but I don't know if that's what I'm trying to do. That you need your commander in play, you have needed to commit crimes, and then you would also have needed to play this for that to matter, and that's kind of steep for what is essentially slightly more scary zombie tokens. Same with Jadar. I had Jadar in here for a second, but I don't really know if the decayed zombie... I'm not doing anything with it. It's just a decayed zombie. Like, I'm not doing anything exciting. I'm not playing Village Rites or anything like that. I just don't know if that is where I want to be. Giving the zombie token +1/+1 is not really that great. We're not doing that. I think that's it for, like, notable card. Oh, Grave Pact, right? Because if I get tokens going, Grave Pact is obviously really good. Phylactery Lich is a zombie, and also I have a lot of artifacts, so why not? I like the card. Obviously, Final Parting with Reanimate and things like Gristlebrand is always nice. We can play probably more expensive things than this, because we have a lot of mana rocks, but I still need to make room for a bunch of removal, or just things that target people, so I can trigger crime. I think that's it for notable cards. Yeah, I guess Nykthos. I don't normally play Nykthos, but we have a fair amount of permanents. Grey Merchant is in here too. Then there's also a zombie, I guess, but I do sort of build Devotion in a deck like this. Obliterator, Grave Pact, Necropotence, Lich, right? Devotion is definitely on the menu. So, yeah, that's it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Oh, wait. I want Phyrexian Arena. Opponent steals something they can cast. Yep. That's unbelievable. My opponent just stole Gristlebrand. You've got to be kidding me, right? When I play this commander for 3 hours, this doesn't happen. My opponent plays it for 1 second, instantly gets Gristlebrand. Chump with this for... Yeah, we just instantly lose. Okay. Again, just uninteractable mana ramp that I can't beat, and then they just play a battle cry. If it wasn't an enter the battlefield effect, Inatali was like an attack trigger or something. But it's not, so... What does this do on the minus? Yeah, stupid. Like I said, the only thing in this game that mattered, for the 40th time today, is the ramp spell, and the Davriel doesn't work as a commander unless you have it on turn 2, and our opponent did, and that's basically why they won, so... Whatever. Literally just endless sweepers. And I should have conceded the moment I saw it in the command zone. Just waste my time. This is just stupid. This is stupid. I'm wasting my time. This is just dumb. Like, what do you want me to do here? I didn't have to crack the Mind Stone there. I didn't have to. I could have maybe used it to Grim Tutor better next turn, but it doesn't really matter. Opponent has to deal with the board, and I don't think they're going to. Okay. There's nothing in the observable universe that would have let me win that game. So they have Mox Amber? I think my opponent has Mox Amber here. Looks like they do. What do I do here? Oh, got nothing to do but this. Minskimbu is a little scary, but, I mean, if I can keep the stuff locked down, it's not that bad. I just have to, like, actually do that. Okay, Liliana the Veil or Key to the Archive. I think we're going to key here. This is better. Might even just get rid of Liliana, actually. So I want Counterspell, and I'll get rid of Liliana. I don't even really like Liliana. What does this do? Oh no, they abraded it. Shoot. Alright, I lost my Counterspell. This doesn't deal with this too well at all, so this is kind of fine. Like, they just don't really deal with this. This does not have Menace, right? No, it doesn't. So I play this or Arena. Well, this one's universally better, and it also unlocks my Counterspell in the future. Well, we knew about the Mox Amber already. Yeah, Minskimbu is not liking this matchup at all. Yeah, it's not gonna... this matchup is miserable for Minskimbu. It's not fast enough. Out-ramping your opponent, or keeping up with a ramp deck doesn't even... You don't get to use anything, right? Like, my endgame with the ramp is not as good as opponent's ramping endgame. My opponent binned a Llanowar Elves, so I will play this turn 1, because if it hits them, I get to steal the Llanowar Elves. I don't even know if that's good, but, I mean, it's better than not doing it, I guess. This is kind of cool. I think I want to Duress right now. Oh, look, a ramp spell. The only thing I could take. Don't care about that. Alright, their handed stuff isn't actually that bad. Or, excuse me, isn't actually that good. So, let's play you. And then untap land. Oh, I forgot I had Llanowar Elves. I could have... No, it's still all the same. It's still all the same. Play you. And I guess I'm swinging. Alright. I have plenty of mana. This taps for 2, right? Yeah. You don't want to replace... You can't proliferate the slumber counters, right? My opponent probably just typed in counter in, like, the search engine, and then just put every card that had the word counter on it in their deck. Because you don't want to proliferate these slumber counters. That doesn't really get you anywhere. They didn't blow up the Mind Stone, which is a little odd. I don't know what the logic is behind that. That seems like the wrong thing to do. But okay. This has Menace. It is a skeleton, so it does get the buff here. But my opponent doesn't have anything in their graveyard. I didn't have any mana anyways. It didn't really matter. Well, at least Atraxa itself isn't the worst, because I have ways to deal with it. This is kind of problematic. My opponent will eventually get the City's Blessing, but as it stands, I guess it really isn't. Kind of wish I had this Thoughtseize last turn. Let's play you and swing with the skeleton. I could have... No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, I will swing with Skelly Boy. I could have stole this, but, nah. It's got Menace, so you have to block with 2 things. So is this on attack or on hit? This is on hit. Okay, so I don't have to kill now. And the reason I would do that is so I don't commit 2 crimes in the same turn. I can commit one here and make more skeletons. I could have done it on their upkeep, so they didn't draw a card, but I think that's fine. Opponent has to deal with this board regardless. Atraxa does not do it. Does it do it as a 1-1 if Davriel shrinks it? I don't think so. These have Menace. Like, this is a very hard, like, array of things to block. Reanimate. There are no reanimate targets. Let's draw here, see what happens. Nykthos was an interesting draw. Does that help with Davriel? It lets me do Davriel pre-combat, so I can kill Lorien right now. No, I want to make Atraxa a 1-1. I want to make this a 1-1. And play this now? There's no reanimate target. No, we're gonna go to attacks here. We're gonna swing with you. I don't think I'm swinging with my Gisa. I'd rather it not die. I think this is fine. This isn't lethal though, but this is better than Tiny Bones has to get through too, and I steal the binding, and I think this is also really good for me. What's happening here? Okay, yeah, we want to kill Atraxa. So shrinking it was worth it. It was important to do that. And I get to steal the binding, which is not really that exciting. Like, at all. But, you know what? It's cool. I will kill Lauren so they don't draw cards. Makes sense to me. They don't really care about my cards. They're just looking for things to get out of this. So. But yeah, we don't find a forest. The Death Touch part is actually pretty cool, though. Yeah. Alright. Our commander got to stay in play and commit enough crimes. It does not take many crimes to actually win the game once you get to this point. The problem is just trying to get to this point. But we did, and we won. Okay, so this is one of the worst commanders I've ever played, but that is kind of par for the course for anything that's just trying to run a bunch of removal spells, because you can't win Magic games in this format playing a bunch of removal spells. Maybe in Pauper, but here, no. Simply killing your opponent's creatures and sometimes discarding cards is not even close to killing anybody in this game at all. Sometimes, and by sometimes I mean basically every single time, that's not good enough. There's not even, I can't even think of a strategy where just having all removal is good enough to do what you need to do to win the game. It's not good enough. This costs 5 mana, so you're preoccupied with really trying to get it in play before you even start to try to commit crimes. If you just cast all your spells before you play this, well, now you can't commit any crimes, right? That's why I like the Planeswalkers and things that can target my opponent repeatedly, so I actually have cards that commit crimes. Otherwise, my hand is empty by the time I play this. Or I just have a board wipe, and now I can't target anything because the board is empty and there's no crimes to commit now. Doesn't make any sense. Again, I don't know why this costs 5 mana. This should probably cost 3, like the other one, the Kervik Kervik does something kind of similar and a little bit more reasonable because it costs way less mana. You can actually expect to play this in a game and have it do something, right? This is forced to be like a big black deck, but for some reason you're just not playing Davriel in your command zone, so your deck is just worse. The 2/2s this creates do not win you games. Even if this stays in play and they're always like 3/3 menaces, it's not going to win you a game. It just isn't. Committing a bunch of crimes and then killing your opponent with zombies is not a way to win a game of Historic Brawl. It literally does not work. My opponents also had I guess you can say not necessarily disproportionate, but it seemed as though Phylactery Lich... Whoops. Just jabbed my keyboard with my hair pick. Phylactery Lich doesn't really stay alive against kind of anything. All 5 colors had no problem dealing with this. Even Mono Black just laughed in the face of this, right, with their goofy edicts that I hadn't really ever seen before. It died to a bunch of edicts that weren't Shieldred's edict. It's kind of funny. I think even Pock blew up the artifact. Yeah, I played against Pock and it blew up the artifact. So, like, it just doesn't... Every color just has no problem with this. So, unfortunately, I guess this isn't good. The only time it was fine was when I put it on the One Ring, because it's indestructible. But you have the One Ring in play. You know, they don't care about the Lich. You have One Ring just drawing a bunch of cards. This is neither here nor there at that point. So, like, this card is just asinine. I really don't think it should be in here. But I could say that for so many cards in this deck that I'm not gonna like switch cards out and try to fine tune the list for something to post online. The core identity of what it's trying to do does not work, and it's the exact for Kervik. It doesn't work. Mono black removal does not work as a strategy. The only reason Davriel gets to pull it off is because the deals break the game. The deals are also things you can't interact with. Your opponent just has to eat them forever because you can't get rid of them. You can easily get rid of this, you know? Like, if your opponent has any semblance of board wipes or isn't a creature deck at all, you are not going to win that game. If your opponent is a creature deck, you really need them to not be a ramp deck, and most of them are. So it has to be like Delny, Inti, not Emoti. What's that other one? There's that red-white one. It's the red-white one that makes 1/1 gnomes. That one. Imti or something. I can't remember. Like, that one can maybe be what you're looking for, because then you have removal spells for their stuff and you're actually interacting with your opponent in kind of like some reasonable way. Or Minskimbu. Minskimbu is a good example, like the red-green beatdown. If you're playing against that, you're fine. But that's 10% of the meta, maybe even less, because everyone just has to like either concede to like Pock all the time or be things that are as good or Pock itself. You're not gonna. You just can't beat it. There was a game where I had perfect answers for I think 3 or 4 turns in a row against a Pock opponent, but once they played Pock in one land, the game was instantly over. I can't run counter spells, obviously, and I won't always have Grave Pact, and Puck can also easily answer Grave Pact anyways, or just literally not care about it. It's horrible. It's horrible. This is probably worse than Kervik, and Kervik was terrible. But I mean, we kind of expected that kind of going in, like I said at the start, right? It's not that different from Kervik, and we knew Kervik was terrible, so I don't know how the crime payoff being slightly different would change anything. Slowing the deck down and making it like a big black deck, it's still just not really gonna change anything. It's just not. It really isn't. So it's unfortunate. I like mono black a lot. I would just recommend, if you want to play a 5 mana 4/4 mono black commander, play Skittles. Skithiryx is actually pretty fine. You just play mono black like you normally would in a Davriel sense. Once the board state is stabilized, or way at turn 7 or 8, you play Skithiryx, and then you just smack your opponent 3 times and they die. Right? Now, I don't think that's that viable when you have things like Pock and Narset, the Jeskai Narset looming around, where you could just never actually pull this off, but it gives you a better shot than this ever did. Actually, I put a Narset player at 9 poison this game, this play session with this, but 9 is not 10, so I still lost. The ramp spells felt fine, always. High Priest, I don't know if it was that good. Morbid was not too difficult to trigger, but it only matters if I have zombies in play already, and then I start making 5/5s, right? Because I don't have a lot of creatures, it really does rely on this, which is fine, because your whole plan is trying to get this in play with zombies. So if you ever have a priest going next to it and make 5/5s, you could say that's maybe win more, but I'm just trying to play into the strategy here, and its strategy just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. Sanctum of Stonefangs giving you a guaranteed crime every turn, and again, who cares? You're just dead or not, and the zombies are not going to change that. This is the first time I got Tiny Bones value. It was like a Llanowar Elves and a Binding or something, which was kind of cool. That was alright. I don't know if it was necessary, but it felt neat to get value out of it. I haven't played this as a commander yet. Maybe I'll do it next time. Don't know what the deck looks like, except just mono discard spells. Yeah, but alright. Let me know what you thought about this list. Well, this commander. If you have ideas and somehow make this one work, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching me lose for 2 hours. See you guys next time.